A young boy named Dion, who lived in the city of Atlanta, America, was completely different from the other kids his age. His classmates at school didn't like him and always kept their distance from him. But no one knew that Dion had mysterious powers hidden inside him, powers that even he himself didn't fully understand. Sometimes strange things would suddenly start happening around him, and he had absolutely no control over them. Dion's mother, Nicole, was raising him all alone because her husband, Mark, had mysteriously disappeared many years ago. That morning, Nicole takes her son to school, but there she realizes that Dion doesn't get along with any of his classmates. This deeply hurts her from the inside. On the other side, the same day brings another huge shock into Nicole's life when she gets fired from her job. Feeling stressed and heartbroken, she goes out to meet her friends to clear her mind. Meanwhile at school, Dion tries to make friends with some kids, but nobody wants to accept him. The only person who talks to him kindly is a girl named Esperanza. She was also different from everyone else, which is why both of them understood each other really well. After school, Dion goes to a skating rink hoping to make some new friends. At first, everyone makes fun of him because he is terrible at skating, but the moment he focuses, the powers inside him suddenly awaken, and he performs such an incredible stunt that all the kids there are left completely shocked. That night, a massive storm was raging outside. Suddenly, Dion walks out of the cabin and says that he can see people standing inside the forest. When Nicole goes outside to bring him back in, she also starts seeing those mysterious spirits herself. Among them were several people who had already died, and standing between them was Mark as well. It almost seemed like he was trying to give Nicole an important message. The next morning, Nicole decides to call the woman whose life Mark had saved before disappearing, but the call directly goes to voicemail. Nicole leaves a message and explains that she found her number inside Mark's jacket pocket. This clearly meant that Mark already knew that woman before the accident happened. Thinking about this fills Nicole's mind with doubt that maybe her husband had been hiding something from her all along. She begs the woman to call her back as soon as possible. Just then, a police officer suddenly arrives at the door and shows Nicole a photograph of a woman, asking if she knows her. The woman's name was Jill Noonan, whose cabin was located on the other side of the lake, and she had mysteriously disappeared. The police officer explains that the previous night Jill had stepped outside her cabin to watch the storm, but after that, she mysteriously disappeared without a trace. After asking a few more questions, the officer says he will keep an eye on the area and then leaves from there. Suddenly, he notices a girl sitting in a wheelchair across the street, whose toy rabbit falls onto the ground. Dion tries to lift it using his powers, but by mistake, he teleports himself directly into the middle of the road. Just then, a speeding car comes rushing straight toward him. At the very last second, Dion teleports once again and lands safely in his mother's arms. Witnessing all this leaves Pat completely shocked. That night, Pat tries teaching Dion how to control his powers. He tells him that if he works hard enough, he could truly become a real superhero one day. On the other side, Nicole also wants to help her son. That is why she gives him his father's old watch and says that wearing it helps a person stay calm and focused. The moment Dion puts on the watch, he says that his powers finally feel under control. Hearing this gives Nicole a little confidence, and the next day she sends him to school. But during recess, another boy tries to snatch away his watch. In anger, Dion uses his telekinetic power and violently pulls the boy's arm. Just then, the principal arrives there, and both children are taken to the office. Luckily, Nicole was still at the school at that time. With the help of Professor Fry, she somehow convinces the principal not to suspend Dion. She reveals that just like Dion, she also has supernatural powers, and she received them after the very same mysterious incident. Charlotte explains that a few years ago, after divorcing her husband, she traveled to Iceland for a vacation. One night there, an unbelievably beautiful aurora borealis appeared in the sky. But after that event, the lives of everyone present there changed forever. Charlotte says that after that night, all those people developed strange supernatural powers, and Mark was one of them too. Those same powers were later passed down to Dion. On the other side, Pat goes to pick up Dion from school after Nicole asks him to. While returning home, they notice some kids playing basketball outside. A boy named Malik invites Dion to join the game as well. Pat also joins them, and during the game he explains to Dion that a real superhero is someone who learns to use his powers without letting anyone notice. Following Pat's advice, Dion secretly uses his mental abilities and keeps throwing the ball perfectly into the basket again and again. Seeing this leaves Malik and the other kids completely shocked. For the first time, Dion feels like maybe he can also live a normal life like everyone else. Just then, she tells Charlotte that on the night of the storm, she saw Mark's spirit standing among other dead people. Hearing this instantly changes Charlotte's expression with fear. She reveals that a dangerous creature living inside that storm was responsible for Mark's death. The moment she says this, Charlotte suddenly panics and runs away from there. Before leaving, she only says that she needs to get away quickly, otherwise that thing will find her too. In that footage, it can clearly be seen that a mysterious and terrifying creature truly exists inside the storm. In reality, Mark had gone there to meet Charlotte because he did not want his family to discover the strange condition he was suffering from. But suddenly a terrifying storm appeared near the lake. During the chaos, Charlotte began getting swept away in the water, but Mark managed to save her life. However, at that exact moment, a mysterious giant creature appeared there, a being capable of controlling lightning itself. It attacks Mark directly. In the very next moment, Mark's body is torn apart into pieces, and the creature absorbs him into itself. The moment Nicole sees that face, she is completely terrified. She instantly realizes that this is the same dangerous creature that killed Mark, and now it is targeting Dion as well. For eating ice cream, Suzanne returns back to work. Just then, Dion repeatedly hears strange deer-like sounds coming from behind a giant metal door. Curious to know what is hidden inside, he starts using his powers. First, he shuts down the security cameras, then secretly steals Suzanne's access card using the power of his mind. This is how Dion and Pat manage to enter the secret room together. The moment they step inside, Pat is left stunned because his company had been secretly monitoring all the people who were present in Iceland that day. Pat discovers that Biona Company has been secretly monitoring every person who was present in Iceland on that mysterious night. Not only that, the company had also captured several animals inside their laboratories because those animals were there during the Aurora Borealis event as well. The scientists believed that the same incident had changed the DNA of both humans and animals. Just then, Dion notices an injured fox. Seeing the animal in pain, he uses his powers and heals the fox right in front of everyone. On the other side, Pat tries opening the company's secret files, but by mistake, he triggers the alarm system. He creates the creature's image floating in the air. The moment Nicole sees that face, she is completely terrified. She instantly realizes that this is the same dangerous creature that killed Mark, and now it is targeting Dion as well. Frightened, Nicole immediately calls Charlotte and says that she needs to meet her right away. On the other side, Pat receives a promotion at his company and is added to the investigation team of the L5 laboratory. There, Suzanne shows him samples taken from animals brought back from Iceland. She explains that all those animals had wounds on their bodies that never healed, and after a few months they eventually died. But in the middle of all this, the fox that Dion had healed with his touch had recovered completely. There were no abnormal changes left inside its DNA anymore. Suzanne explains that the land where the fox was found is rapidly decaying and slowly starting to rot away. If they fail to find a cure, the entire Iceland region could eventually be destroyed. That is why Pat now needs to discover who healed that fox in the first place. That afternoon, Charlotte arrives at Nicole's house. Nicole folds her hands and desperately begs her to teach Dion how to protect himself, so that if the terrifying creature attacks again, seeing his condition, his teacher immediately takes him to the infirmary. Then Kat is called to the school so she can take him back home. But the moment Kat touches Dion, she becomes terrified because his body is burning hot like fire. Because of this, she immediately rushes him to the emergency room. Nicole becomes extremely frightened about her son's medicals. She fears that the doctors might somehow discover Dion's powers. That is why she instantly calls Pat and asks him to come to the hospital. At the hospital, Dion's blood samples are taken and sent to the laboratory. Kat tries to calm him down, but the moment Nicole arrives there, Dion immediately relaxes. At Nicole's request, he tries to show his new powers, but it feels as if something is blocking his abilities completely. Just then, the doctor leaves the room and Pat walks inside. He tells Nicole that on the way to school that morning, Dion had tried to heal his illness. Pat then suggests that maybe Mark's memory card contains some important information, so he asks for permission to take the card to the Biona laboratory and unlock its hidden files. A little while later, when Kat returns to the room, she completely loses her senses in shock. Her nephew Dion was floating in the air. Now she finally believes that Nicole was telling the truth and that Dion really does have superpowers. Charlotte stops him using her powers, but at that exact moment, she discovers the most horrifying truth of all. Pat himself was the real Lightning Man. Just then, Suzanne calls Nicole and warns her that a storm is forming outside her building. Terrified, Nicole immediately rushes back home. After reaching there, she sees Pat grabbing Charlotte, and within seconds, Charlotte's body breaks apart and disappears completely. Trembling with fear, Nicole instantly grabs Dion and both of them escape through the back door. A little later, Pat walks into the house as if nothing had even happened. Then he reaches Kat's home and lies to her by saying that Nicole is mentally unstable, which is why he is worried about Dion. But Kat had already understood that Pat had completely lost his mind. So she lies and tells him that Nicole has taken Dion to their grandparents' house. The moment Pat leaves, she immediately calls Nicole and warns her. Now Nicole decides that she will not tell anyone where she is going. In reality, she was heading toward that same old cabin. The moment they arrive there, she seals all the windows with wooden boards so nobody can enter inside. But Pat tricks Dion into revealing their location through a message. Suddenly, another terrifying storm begins forming near the cabin. Frightened, Nicole starts blocking every possible entrance. But after some time, the weather clears up, and she she thinks the danger is finally gone. Suzanne and her Biona team arrive there, but Pat attacks them immediately. After seeing his mother injured, Dion finally fights back with his full power. Nicole gets up and drives a lightning rod directly into Pat's body. Then through that rod, Dion releases all his electric powers straight into him. In the very next moment, the terrifying creature explodes with a massive blast. The instant Pat dies, all the trapped souls inside him are finally set free. During that moment, Dion sees the spirit of his father Mark once again. Mark tells his son that just like he himself was never completely destroyed, that dark creature is also not truly dead yet. That is why Dion must always stay careful. Dion promises his father that one day he will definitely bring him back. After saying this, Mark smiles and disappears once again. But the story does not end there. Several miles away, Brayden had already killed his aunt, and now the same terrifying powers that once belonged to the storm had started awakening inside him too. So what did you think about this series? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can continue enjoying more amazing stories like this in the future.